Well, smoke 'em if you've got 'em. You know the expression. However, a man named Trevor Farrell posted a video to his Facebook page of himself lighting up none other than a McDonald's French fry. Then he proceeds to smoke it, and he's pretty disgusted by the concept. Take a look.
This is what people crave over and love. We've been giving our kids this for years. I used to go to McDonald's all the time. My granddad used to take me to McDonald's every day after school. Is this how we want to feed our kids? Is this what we want in our systems, guys? It's time to wake up, bro.
Every day? Well, McDonald's has recently come under fire for concealing the ingredients of their Chicken McNuggets. Now we can see that their French fries can actually catch fire and be smoked. That's weird, but if you're tempted, you might want to think again.
I'm gonna go brush my teeth. That was nasty.
I guess that's why there's no French fry flavored e-cigarettes.
Hi there, I'm Jared Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
You're tuned in to Video Radio.
Independent media for an intelligent world.
So we're talking about smoking a French fry.
Yeah, you know, you gotta wonder what's in McDonald's food that, you know, you can use it as a carcinogen producing product.
Yes.
Well, it is that anyway, isn't it?
Food Network covered it. If you like your, well, food parts in your beef burger and called 100% beef, well, that's what they found on the Food Network. Check it out. But Russia
has decided that McDonald's is not living up to its nutritional requirements, and of course they've closed 12 McDonald's restaurants in Russia as a result of sanctions imposed upon it through the Western NATO alliance or whatever the hell they're doing there.
So we've got the story. Check it out.
There are few things more American than a meal at McDonald's, which might be bad news for the restaurant's 418 Russian locations.
A Russian consumer protection agency has, in fact, filed a lawsuit against McDonald's in Russia, believe it or not.
The lawsuit alleges its food violates health codes and has too many calories. If successful, McDonald's could have to remove cheeseburgers, milkshakes, and the filet-o-fish from its menu. But as tensions between the U.S. and Russia escalate, the targeting of a premier American brand is raising eyebrows. NBC said McDonald's could be the next victim of a proxy war between the two powers. After all, this Russian consumer protection agency has a history of political action. After the 2006 election of a pro-U.S. government in Moldova, the same agency banned wine from the Eastern European country for allegedly containing pesticides and heavy metals. And just this month, Russia announced it would be banning Ukrainian dairy products after finding unidentified harmful substances.
One day we don't like Moldovan wine, then suddenly import of Georgian wine gets banned. This ban and campaign against McDonald's is a typical case of the same sort.
McDonald's has fallen victim to Russian foreign policy before. The company was forced to close 3 locations in Crimea after Russia invaded the peninsula in April. Although Russia didn't force the closures, McDonald's said it was necessary after the suspension of banking services in the region. The move was met in Russia with calls to ban all McDonald's in the country. These attacks on the Golden Arches show how far Russia's opinion of the West has fallen. When McDonald's opened its first Russian location in 1990, the line stretched for miles. On Saturday, McDonald's said it had yet to receive an official complaint for its Russian locations. For Newsy, I'm Zach Toombs.
So Western pundits are outraged that Russia is responding to the sanctions in this way. It is only 12 restaurants, however, and Muscovites can still get their Big Macs and their French fries and their thick shakes.
Yes, so whoopee yahoo. I mean, really, who cares? Fast food, though, has dominated the news. Maclean's magazine got all over Burger King and Timmy's, and the American news is just totally trashing on Burger King because of a merger creating a superpower in the fast food industry.
But, you know, this is what people are getting upset about? Really?
From the newspaper point of view, I can't believe they killed trees to produce this story.
Even talk of moving the home of the Whopper to Canada was enough to get Burger King customers fired up. Hours after confirming the company was looking to take over coffee and donut chain Tim Hortons, Burger King's Facebook page was flooded with messages from people threatening to boycott.
This is one of the very few companies where consumers can very easily vote with their wallets.
The deal could mean big tax savings on foreign income. The U.S. has the highest corporate tax rate in the developed world at about 35%. The federal tax rate in Canada is closer to 15%. Although legal, the practice, known as a tax inversion, has faced repeated criticism from President Obama.
You don't have that option. It ain't right.
Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown from Ohio shared that outrage Monday, saying Burger King's decision to abandon the United States means consumers should turn to Wendy's old-fashioned hamburgers or White Castle sliders. Burger King isn't the first American company to face a backlash. Earlier this month, Walgreens ditched plans to move its headquarters to Europe after an onslaught of negative publicity. Since 2012, at least 21 American companies have announced or completed similar deals. Most of them involved healthcare companies until now. Jan Crawford, CBS News, Washington.
Yes, indeed. It's going to totally destroy the Canadian economy, or the American.
Well, Burger King did decide on this merger to save them on their tax rate because we have such a lower tax rate for corporations than the Americans do, which boggles my mind.
Yes, indeed. And, of course, corporations don't pay taxes, but benefit from the police and, social services that we provide, and also the way that we subsidize the low wages that they pay. Am I pointing out enough here?
I think that's sufficient, yes.
At any rate, talking about crap food, Burger King, McDonald's, and that leads us, of course,
to Wal-Mart and their great value ice cream sandwiches that don't melt in the heat. Check this story out from Lip TV.
Who doesn't love a good ice cream sandwich? And thank God for Walmart, they make them cheap. And you can get lots of them. You can get 16 in a box for like $1.50. And the good thing, though, is if you forget, you take one out and put it on your patio table, it'll be there the next day. It won't have melted. But the people at Walmart, they've come up with a brilliant concoction so that their ice cream doesn't melt. And an experiment has taken place just to prove this.
All right.
Dan Collins of Kickin' Country, Sioux Falls. He's done a little experiment. Let's take a look.
And we've reached the 35-minute mark. 35 minutes. The scoop of Blue Bunny real vanilla ice cream didn't last too long. The ice cream sandwich, the great value, is still looking like it did when we took it out of the box. Almost 80 degrees, if not 80 degrees on the nose.
According to Carrie Fry, VP of the Regulatory and Scientific Affairs of the International Dairy Foods Association. She's jumped right in there on the blog for Walmart, Walmart's blog, to kind of defend this by saying, this summer, a new food experiment is becoming popular, measuring how long it takes for an ice cream sandwich to melt. It does melt, she says, but more slowly than a bowl of ice cream. As a food scientist, I find this experiment interesting. It demonstrates what our industry can do to make a great frozen treat even better. This has guar gum in it, which is a natural ingredient. It's plant-derived, but it's also used in the slurry that they shove down into fracking holes. It's the same stuff they use to make that thicker. They use to make your ice cream sandwich not melt.
So, guar gum, the same ingredient they use in fracking solution, is in your ice cream sandwiches. Yummy.
I didn't know if he was going to make the association. That's awesome. Do you know that Subway used to put yoga mat material into their food? And of course, Coca-Cola just got their hands slapped by the general public for putting in fire retardant into the Coke. For how long now? Okay.
It's retardant.
Yes, indeed. But
one of my favorite foods,
yes,
Nutella spread, delicious hazelnut chocolate spread, is in danger. You better stock up now because climate change apparently is affecting the hazelnut crop.
Yes, from third world sources. Check it out.
So if you love Nutella,
everybody panic.
And a lot of people do, that chocolatey hazelnut just dream concoction, you're going to want to go to the grocery store and just stock the hell up. Prices for all that gooey deliciousness are probably going to surge, and here's why. Turkey supplies an estimated 70% of the world's hazelnuts, and there has been a lot of bad weather over there. The industry is preparing for a small harvest of the nut, jeopardizing the availability of Nutella and other hazelnut-based items. I didn't know there were other hazelnut-based items. Nutella is made by the Italian-based company Ferrero. According to the company, each 13-ounce jar contains over 50 hazelnuts. Businessweek reports that Ferrero is already the largest consumer of hazelnuts, consuming 25% of the world's supply.
That's amazing.
That's a lot. Nutella dominates the chocolate spread market, holding 70% of U.S. industry sales. And the crop production is suffering. A lot of crop productions are suffering. Limes, avocados. That's why you probably noticed a lot of these prices way up. Production is super, super down, and these prices are going to skyrocket. Get your Nutella now.
So better invest in the Nutella stock because, you know, the price is going to go up. It'll be a rarity.
Yes.
And we know how the market works, supply and demand.
Yeah, of course. And, you know, any excuse to raise the prices. So stock up now. The Nutella crisis is upon us, which is just about ranking up there with cat pictures and Justin Bieber.
But, you know, we do have to throw the odd crazy story or silly story to, you know, seem relevant.
Yes, and, you know, not slam your intellect up against a concrete wall. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about GMOs.
And food inspection agencies.
That's all right here with independent media for an intelligent world.
The attack on scientists is very well structured by the biotech industry. It's systematic, it's worldwide, it's very coordinated. It's part of the way that they do business.
What's, I think, very unique in my case is that I survived.
One of the reasons why we are lining up now is, of course, to protect ourselves against the attacks which will continue to come, of course, because we are obviously threatening to the markets of the producers of genetically modified organisms and other genetically engineered products.
Our discovery that we were finding transgenic corn maybe 1,000 miles from the nearest legal transgenic corn field was a huge problem for them because it really showed very simply and with real evidence that they really did not have control.
No one gets up in the morning saying, I want to go buy a genetically engineered food. They offer no benefits, no more nutrition, no more flavor, no nothing. They only offer risks.
His brilliant design showed that it wasn't the insecticide that caused the problems. It was somehow the process of creating the genetically engineered potato.
They asked me, would you eat it? I said, no, certainly not the GM potatoes we worked on. If I could avoid it, I would certainly avoid it.
The next morning, Arpad Pusztai was fired after 35 years and silenced with threats of a lawsuit.
They did not want people to have that knowledge and not want them to have that choice. So this isn't just a story about science. It's a story about knowledge, democracy, and freedom of choice.
They should not use our fellow citizens as human guinea pigs.
Virtually every food that you consume, including you in Germany, has some genetically modified product in it, okay, whether it's soybeans or corn.
So remember that the animal that has been fed on GM has been changed. Now, when you are eating that animal fed on GM, you will be eating a different animal.
Peru bans GMOs. Peruvian President Ollanta Humala has ratified a law that bans the import and production of genetically modified organisms for the next 10 years. Introduced by Congressman Jaime Delgado, the bill was widely supported by agricultural organizations and the Peruvian people alike, with President Humala stating that the decision was made in response to their wishes and in defense of the nation's valued biodiversity.